I killed my first person of interest when I was 11 years old. I was in a railroad boxcar and somebody pissed me off, and out the door he went, and under the wheels of a very fast train. After that, it became very, very lucrative for me to find work because I had an organized crime family that's very well known to this day. And I started contracting myself as an independent contractor, as a professional. But I'm not what they call a hired killer. I'm somebody that has been taken upon himself, someone like a modern day vigilante, I don't know, eradicating, exterminating people that deserve to be, the filth that's out there, the people that take advantages of people that are vulnerable, the people like who basically are victimized by predators. Those are the people that I'm talking about. Those are the people that I want to do what they call pest control. They're the people who don't deserve not 1 ounce of life because of the hideous acts that they do. And there's a lot of people out there in the world that I don't like to say that there's justifiable justice, because there's no such thing. Sometimes you have to live by your own law. Your own law is survival of the fittest. Exterminate those people who are just like the rapists and the murderers and the people doing child trafficking and things like that. They're not worthy. The people who are pedophiles. It's very, very personal, but I worked for somebody for many years, for over 10 years. He was the number one narcotraficante in the world, and he was based out of Bogota, Colombia. Era un colombiano. He was a Colombian, and I worked for him, contracted with him on a lot of what we call business vendetta. That's what I call it, business vendetta. And people have a misconception of what it's like to be an organized crime. It's not like what you see in Hollywood. Hollywood's such a farce. They're so far-fetched. They don't know that people like myself have a very, very high IQ. So over the period of over 40 years, that span about 40 years, I've had the opportunity and been given a lot of contracts to exterminate. On my count, I mean, it's very hard, to count bodies. A lot of it's suppressed in your mind, but I think it's probably close to 350. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I don't like to take on numbers. And despite all the claims of other well-known hitmen who claim a lot, I'm not one of those people who try to brag or, who try to just overcompensate something that's not really true. I just really regard myself. And one thing that people don't understand in this business is that some of the most honest people, the most articulate people, are in the business of organized crime. Let me tell you something. Why? Because if you give yourself your word and you don't do exactly what you say you're going to do, well, you're with a bunch of people who are basically in the same business, and that is a professional killing machine. And they will find ways to exterminate you. And if you don't do as plan A, they go to plan B, and that's extermination. Not to say now that I haven't had a risk of injury, because in those 40 years I've had, least 5